I want to thank you for taking a look at our video on the Janome 5812. The 5812 is a great model in that it meets quite a few needs. If you're needing a basic machine for a beginner sewer, 5812 is a good model because the stitch selection on it has 12 total stitches. It's easy to pull the stitches up, easy to change the length and the width. It's not too much on the machine, so it would be really good for a beginner, or if you're needing a backup machine or a classroom machine. It's a really good model in that it weighs about 13 pounds. Threading on the machine is really easy. I can use several different types of threads on my horizontal spool pin here. I do have a place that I can put a vertical spool pin for my twin needle sewing, or I have different size cones of thread. It does have a carrying handle, but everything as far as my threading is channeled all the way to the needle, and it threads front to back on my needle. I will have the top drop-in bobbin built in on the machine. And on my throat plate, I have different markings so I can use as a seam guide to guide me along the way. There is a place that I can screw in a metal seam guide, and we do carry those as well. Feel free to ask us about those. It does have the removable accessory tray that I can carry all my accessories in. If you'll notice here, this little lever right on the front of the machine, that's my drop feed lever. So with this machine, I can do free motion sewing, I can do free motion embroidery, or if I need to darn a hole or put on a button, I drop my feed dogs for that. There is extra high lift under the presser foot, so I can get those thicker fabrics up underneath the presser foot, and it does have reverse sewing built in here. There is a very versatile stitch selection on the 5812. I do have my straight stitch, and I also have a left needle position straight stitch for putting in zippers or piping or cording. I'll have my zigzag, and I can adjust the width on my zigzag. There's an elastic stitch, there's a stretch blind hem, and there's a left and right tack blind hem. And on the front of the machine, if you'll notice this SS, and what that stands for is straight stitch. Now, once I have it on this, it converts my machine over, and I'm reading this line of stitches here. So I have the stretch straight stitch, it sews 2 stitches forward and 1 reverse. I have a left needle position, stretch straight stitch. I have the rick-rack stitch, which is basically a double zigzag. This is a decorative stitch. If you can remember, used to you'd buy a rick-rack and sew it on by hand. Now this is built into the machine. You have a smocking or a honeycomb stitch for decorative sewing. And then you'll have 3 different overcasting stitches that are built into the machine. 5812 is a really good model because it's so easy to use. All my stitches have letters by them. I just put it on the letter of the stitch corresponding on my stitch diagram. I get my stitch length set like I want it, and I'm ready to sew. The machine does have a really nice feed dog system on it, so it's grabbing my fabric in several places to feed the fabric through smoothly. The motor's not too fast on it, so basically for a beginner, it makes a really good machine for a beginner.